I couldn't sleep and I wrote this at like 7:30 in the morning. So some of it's kind of deranged, but I think it turned out okay. Link. Everyone's favorite mute elven boy. Over the years, we've seen the legendary hero overcome many obstacles on his journeys to save the day. We've seen him face impossible odds and continue to push on and defeat the evils of Hyrule. We've never seen him waver in his quest or back down from a challenge. But what if we did? The character of Link isn't the same kid from game to game. He is a descendant of a hero long past, a chosen one of sorts who is given the task of vanquishing evil whenever it should rise. In the beginning, there wasn't much story thought up for the Legend of Zelda games. You were the good guy and your job was to defeat the bad guy. But with the release of Ocarina of Time, that all changed. On the surface, it boiled down to the same thing. You're the good guy, go beat the bad guy. But woven between the tropes was the beginnings of a vast and rich lore. Link has always been a mute character as to be an avatar for the player. Video games have this weird advantage. By making the character you play as not utter a single word, you can connect with them on a deeper level. You can put your own unique thoughts and motives in them in a way you couldn't in any other form of entertainment. You can become them. And that's great from a gameplay standpoint, but it limits your storytelling abilities with them. You can only get so much emotion out of a grunt or a frown. So far, Nintendo has gotten away with this by making all the meaningful stuff happen around you, more or less turning you into a camera, filming everyone else's drama. Look at BioShock 1 compared to BioShock Infinite. Almost all the story was fed to you through cassette tapes because you, as the character, couldn't speak. Now, BioShock had an incredible story, don't get me wrong, but you always kind of felt like you were watching a play while sitting in the middle of the stage, where BioShock Infinite had you as part of the cast. For some, it might have depersonalized the experience, but overall it helped achieve a more cohesive and engrossing narrative. Now, I want to preface this next part by saying this isn't a Breath of the Wild sequel theory, though I will be using its settings and themes, but more so ideas and spitballing for what could make Link a really compelling character. Picture this. Link and Zelda are trudging their way through a muggy and damp cave. The flicker of their torches dances along the walls of exposed rock. They've been walking for hours in search of something they both hope not to be real. A draft is felt slinking between their feet. Up ahead, they see an opening and rush towards it. They are greeted to a grand chamber, but it's too dark to make out much. They carefully make their way to the center where they are met with a ghastly sight. Zelda raises her torch and the shadows scramble away to safety. In front of them is a shriveled, twisted corpse. Its expression is one of pain and anger. Could it be? The remains of the barbaric Ganon. We then experience what we saw in the trailer, but what if this force needs life to create life? And what if it chose Zelda? We begin to see the life torn from her body and enter the rotten corpse of Ganon. Link tries to stop it, but whatever this cursed magic is repels him away. Zelda's body begins to contort and collapse as the life is pulled from her. Link tries and tries again to intervene, but is continuously forced away by this unknown magic. Now, all he can do is watch. As the last bit of life leaves her body, it crumbles to the ground, lifeless. Link is left just sitting there, helpless, with his eyes to the dark, wet ground. How could he let this happen? How come he couldn't stop it? A strange crackling sound pulls him away from his twirling thoughts. As he raises his head, he finds the source of the noise. The rotten head of Ganon moves ever so slightly. It was such a small movement, Link believes he imagined it. Suddenly, another violent twitch, and the crackling sound of popping bones is heard again, reverberating off the stone walls. Then the head snaps into a terrifying gaze, locking eyes with our hero. Its eyes glow a fiery red, and it lets out a horrifying shriek. This panics Link, and he scrambles backward through the stagnant cave water. He drops the Master Sword, but everything in his body is telling him to keep running. So he runs and runs until his legs won't hold him. He makes it out of the cave and emerges into the light. He keeps going but doesn't make it far. But where he is should be far enough. He takes shelter under a strong tree where he collapses to the ground. He can't believe what he had just seen. He's mad at himself for being powerless to stop it. And for the first time in a long time, he feels utterly helpless. Now, my description of Zelda's demise was pretty graphic, but Link needed to see that for my plot to work. And no, she's not dead. Perhaps Link needs to return there to reclaim his sword and defeat this newly revived Ganon. And once Ganon is defeated, Zelda's life force will return to her. But all this needed to happen to put Link in a compromised state. We need to take away the thing that he's been fighting for. The true test of a hero is having him or her do the right thing even if they have nothing left. To have their morals tested to the absolute limit and rise to the challenge. In Batman, when Rachel dies, Batman's out for blood but ultimately can't kill the Joker due to his inner code. In Spider-Man, when he's getting absolutely pummeled by the Green Goblin and is forced to kill him to protect the ones he loves, even though he tried everything to have it not come to that. They get so close to giving up, but something inside them pushes them to keep going. We need to see Link go through something similar. Now, this could be done with a silent protagonist, but to fully pull off the story beats needed, having Link speak will help immensely. I want to see Link torn within himself whether he should continue this fight, or walk away from it all defeated. With Zelda presumably dead, what's left to fight for? What hope does he have to keep going? If he was powerless to do anything, how can he even imagine fighting that thing down there? I want him to question his abilities. I want him to doubt his abilities. In Ocarina of Time, Link had a little helper throughout the game, the owl. And by the game's completion, we learned that the owl was someone special. It's a classic fantasy technique. Introduce your hero to a character who seems to have little purpose for being there. Have them seem useless or silly or annoying, only to prove later that they are crucial to the hero's success. For example, think about how we first met Yoda.
Get your ship out!
Hey, get out of there!
In the Ocarina of Time, we discover the owl to be one of the 7 sages in disguise, who aided our hero along his journey. I would love something similar. I want Link so distraught by what he couldn't prevent from happening to Zelda that he plans to leave Hyrule to its fate. But this secret guide follows him around and tries to change his mind. At first, Link brushes him off out of annoyance, but over time it gets through to him. Now, I have 2 ideas for who this character could secretly be, but I don't know which one I like better, so I'll let you decide. 1. It's Navi. This could be cool for a couple reasons. The nostalgia alone would be enough fan service, but it would also be a good storytelling point to go back and find out what happened to her after the events of Ocarina of Time. Did she wander off to go in some deep sleep only to be awoken when the next hero needed her help? There's just a lot that could be done with the character. Or 2, the Hero of Time. Again, more options. Did he time travel, reintroducing time travel back into the franchise, or has he ascended, taking the place of the old sage? Now, both ideas would have all the old sages gone, and replaced with links of the past. The hero of Hyrule, the hero of legends, the hero of time, the hero of winds, the hero of the Minish, the hero chosen by the gods, and the hero of the skies. Imagine how cool it would be to have all the heroes we played as come together, in some kind of spirit form, to give this new hero the strength and will to go back and defeat Ganon. Tell me a cooler idea. You can't. Not only would this be excellent motivation to get our hero back on the right track, but come on, you know how awesome that would be? Or if they all fuse themselves into the 4th missing piece of the Triforce, giving Link a new power to put down Ganon for good. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the important thing here is this approach could introduce so much potential storytelling. Now, a lot of people feel Breath of the Wild strayed too far away from what makes Zelda Zelda, and admittingly, this direction would only push the series further away. But that's where gameplay comes into play. There's a ton Nintendo could bring back to satisfy those players. Special key items, proper dungeons, but I won't be getting too much into that in this video. But if you wanted to see more on that, you can check out Rogent Productions' video on it. It's really good and goes in depth on what he feels the sequel needs to please longtime fans. Plus, I'm in it. So check it out in the card above. But that about does it for me. Again, this isn't a theory about how the next Legend of Zelda title could turn out, but just some ideas on how to elevate one aspect of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I haven't had an opportunity in any of these videos to kind of address and talk with you guys, off the cuff. So I'll take that opportunity to do it right now. Thank you guys so much for watching all of these videos. I've had a lot of positive feedback on them, and it's something that I have wanted to do for a long time, and now that I'm actually doing it, it feels cool. I feel rejuvenated. I just feel passionate about making YouTube videos again, and I just gotta thank you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please scroll down, hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you guys in the next one.